Today we bring you another Town Hall 13 5 vs 5 war. I know you guys enjoy these as much as I do, and this one is from the Pinnacle Cup. We have CruncHTimE battling Lando Gaming. As ever, there is only one attack per player, and you will see all 10 attacks within this video. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into the first one. It is Lando Gaming, easy peasy, starting with the Queen charge into Lava Loon. The Town Hall offset to the side a little bit here, and we still have the Yeti Blimp combination. If the scatter shot goes down alongside the single Inferno, then this is a good start for Lando Gaming, and indeed, that is what they get, including the air defense. Now, what you are trying to do with this opener is lure out the clan castle troops. That is one objective done. 3 ice golems. This means that Lando Gaming can take away the ice golems free from the defenses. Doesn't have to worry about that. And he also has clear pathing for his queen. It will move up to the right now since there are no buildings there. And it will drive the queen in towards the town hall. And in a single attack format war, you've got to get the 2 stars. There is no question about it. You do not want to get a 1 star. And easy peasy is very much on his way to the 2 star, but the 3 star is what every single one of these players are aiming for. Irrespective, you've got to get a high percentage. 90% plus is what we have been seeing throughout the Pinnacle Cup, and also you've got to get at least 1 or 2 3 stars. You will be incredibly fortunate if you are to win with just a 2 star throughout. Easy peasy. Coming forward to that town hall, take a look at the time on the bottom. We only have 1 minute and 30, so as soon as that town hall is secured, which is around about now, we will see that lava loon coming in, and the queen is able to get the air sweepers as well, which means that we do not have to worry about the Lalo. Here it comes from the 3 o'clock section, also 2 o'clock, driving straight into the defenses. A beautiful freeze onto the scatter shot, and the single protects not just the loons but the lava hound as well, and through they go. This looks very good, especially with the Grand Warden's ability, but pops it early there, only gets a handful of the balloons. All of the others are left stranded inside the tornado trap, and coming down to the end, there is not a lot of health left. He could still get this. The Royal Champion's ability goes off, and it is looking very promising for Lando Gaming, starting this one off with a queen charge into Lava Loon. Each of these players have only had a matter of 15 minutes in order to scout the bases as well, and being the first attack, it is always good to get that 3 star in the bag, because you do not have as long to scout. 20 seconds despite starting the Lalo late. This one is crushed, and Lando Gaming kick it off with a 3 star. Now CruncHTimE, who topped their group, have already got to fight back. Sham1 is using the hybrid attack. Now, this style of V base we have seen a fair bit. It is relatively popular, and as long as you can set off the funnel on one side, carve out a part of the base, your hogs and miners should have a good job getting through. Sham1 decides to come into the single so that the queen charge is free from it. Also takes out the 2 wizard towers, and the Yeti mites charge forward to lure the clan castle and also take down the archer tower. That was huge value. When you are committing a rage spell, you do not want the Yeti mites to all go for 1 defense. Fortunately for Sham1, they went for a ton of them. Look at that 1 wall breaker under rage, allowing the queen access into this compartment to get not just the town hall, but the scatter shot as well. This is huge value. The baby dragon also popped the Sam down at the bottom corner. I don't know if you guys seen that, but that could be huge. Depending on queen pathing, that could be something which protects the healer. The main issue here is the lava hound stuck on the king. What Sham1 does not want is the queen going to that lava hound mid-attack, and there she goes. She's already attracted to it, so she's going into the center of the base. She is going to have multiple expos onto the queen whilst trying to fight a lava hound. This is CruncHTimE's worst nightmare right now, but the poison could take take it out, decides to save onto it. Interesting approach, maybe. He is expecting skelly traps over in this area and feels the poison is needed. Queen is surviving, but with no ability. She has got to get through the expos and fast, but it is not enough. Down she goes. Thankfully, the healers will switch to the hogs and miners. They're caught in that tornado trap at the moment, but we are good. We've got a freeze for the multi and the scatter shot. Grand Warden's ability used first. We will shortly see that freeze. We do not want a single hit from the scatter shot. In it should come. There it goes. He did take a hit from the scatter shot, but with the heal spell, he might get through this. Royal Champion's ability. The single is on the Royal Champion. You've got to pop that ability, Sham1. Press it, press it, press it. Oh, he's missed it. That is gutting. You've got to press it when the single is on, and that is where the scout, the person on voice, should be recognizing that. It is unfortunate, but it's not going to happen. Would the Royal Champion's ability have made any difference? It would have got through a ton of these defenses. Maybe wouldn't have helped the miners through, but you've got to say that with the ability and the Royal Champion surviving, he might have got this. So close, and yet so far. But that is the difference maker when it comes to these high level wars. And CruncHTimE, whilst they can sit and sulk, they need to pick themselves back up. Obviously, one of the home team for me, CruncHTimE, and I am hoping that they do not take this too seriously and they pick things up and get themselves the 3 stars they need. We now have Vlad the Evil. He is again going to be mimicking the attack we just seen by CruncHTimE, the hogs and the miners. The battle blimp comes in from the 6 o'clock area, aiming for the multi-inferno. Down it goes. One of the Yetis trying to get to the outside. The Grand Warden statue goes down and more Yetis come forward, but notice how all of them went to the cannon. That is what you want to try and avoid. It's pretty unavoidable. It's not something within your control, but if the Yetis will split, you can get so much better value. But the multi goes down. The pathing is created. It's interesting to then start with the queen up by the town hall, but obviously feels the hogs and miners coming in at 4 o'clock is going to be the better option. The healers go to the king though. This could be huge. Big mistake from Vlad, because the queen was not taking damage and also swags a rage spell. So Lando Gaming in deep trouble as the ice golems get lured out of the clan castle. The queen is going to go down. King has the healers. Now it is all about the percentage. Lando Gaming know that at this point there's a very slim chance of getting the 3-star, so you've just got to use your spells, use the Grand Warden's ability, use everything early to maximize percentage. The 2 stars pretty much in the bag thanks to the queen getting the town hall. Scattershot doing beautiful work onto the miners. This is exactly what CruncHTimE needed. Despite being behind by a 3-star, if they can hold this to a low percentage 2-star, it means they might be able to leapfrog Lando Gaming if they get a 3-star in their next attack. Vlad can breathe easy knowing that he has got the 2-star. He is not going to get that dreaded 1-star, and it means that at least they don't lose the 3-star, because basically it's a team effort, remember? If your team has got a 3-star and you end up getting a 1-star, then you've pretty much cancelled out a triple, which is not what any team member wants. But that is the beauty of the 5v5. The king with the healers continuing to charge around the outside, and we're going to be looking at around about 70%. Now, whilst that is okay, it's good to get the 2-stars. Remember, across the Pinnacle Cup and across any of the high-level wars that we have been seeing, 90% is around about that margin. If you're getting lower than 90%, then there is a good chance you will lose out on percentage. So Lando Gaming, they're still in the lead. They can still breathe easy at this point. They're a star ahead, but that is not the percentage that they wanted for the second attack, and it will give CruncHTimE an opportunity. One of the attackers we spoke of earlier, Azuka, one of the top players of CruncHTimE, He is in, and he wants to get this 3-star. Feels he can take advantage of this base with the hybrid. Now, I love a couple of Valkyries to funnel, just because it is out of the ordinary. It's not your typical funneling troops, but they can get good value. Lowers the health of the gold storage, and also takes out the other one. Now, that will be enough to drive the queen to the town hall. Notice the baby dragon on the outside here. That is very good in order to force the queen on the inside of the wall to the town hall. The loon takes out a Sam, which is a black bomb, and also gets a building there as well. So this is a very good start for CruncHTimE. If the queen can take this town hall down, that will be much preferred before she switches to the ice golems, and that is exactly what happened. Azuka cannot be any happier with how this is going at the moment, and with 2 minutes left, he starts the miners and hogs. Notice the deployment of the miners first. There was trash buildings on the outside, and what you want is your miners and hogs together. So Azuka uses the miners first to take out the trash buildings, so that the Hog Riders will then be exactly the same area as the miners. It means your heal spells, your Grand Warden's ability, everything can be used together. Hogs and miners about to split up, so now would be a good time for that Grand Warden's ability. Opts for another heal spell, but the Grand Warden's ability has already been used. I don't know what I'm thinking, guys. I was thinking the Royal Champion's ability, but as it comes down, we notice the single. This is where CruncHTimE slipped up. The single Inferno is onto it. Press that ability, and again, oh, it just goes off this time. Doesn't quite get the single Inferno, but unfortunately for Azuka, what looked so good was again so far away. I feel the funnel just wasn't tight enough on that base. When the hogs and miners got in the middle, as they started to split up, that is not what you want. You always want them condensed together. It's a good attack. The plan was successful, but he just didn't have the funnel created enough. Unfortunate, but it does keep the percentage in the region that CruncHTimE want. Remember, 90% is the target. We're at 87, so we're not too far away here. Certainly not. CruncHTimE, they're right up there on percentage, but they're behind by a star, so the next attack they really need to get a 3-star. And if they really needed a 3-star to put themselves a little bit further ahead, then one is their man. He is the World Championship winning Team Nova. He was there, the Electro Dragons. You remember that moment when Juan and LP were jumping around the stage, hugging each other as they knew they were about to get the lion's share of $1 million, and they got it done. Can Juan repeat that success in this attack? Loses a healer to a black bomb early on. Not the end of the world, because the Queen already takes down the town hall, and he has pretty good value due to wall breakers. Oh, super close. Snuck one of them right the way into the center of the base, but it went down. The Expo just about caught onto it. Queen is going to take down the ice golems, and with 2 minutes left, we are onto a good start here. Another healer drops to a black bomb, so the Queen is going to be vulnerable, and I'm pretty sure that one wanted more value than this with his Queen. It's good. He can't be too disappointed, but I'm pretty sure he wanted more than this. The lava hounds are taking early damage with no balloons in that area, so that is major for CruncHTimE's defense because it now leaves the balloons vulnerable. However, one has the spells in order to counteract that, consistently freezing the multi-inferno and the scatter shot. In they come. Can they get to it? The sweeper is the savior, and they start to get it. Oh, they did not. So now we just have the troops within the Stone Slammer. This still looks good for one. Is he going to get it? It is a dragon, which is there in case he needed to kill the Queen. The dragon, though, will go down to the single, and with a wizard tower in the left-hand side of your screen, that could be the difference maker on this attack, unless he gets incredibly fortunate and the Grand Warden can finish finish this off, being out of range. Now the minions might start to tank this wizard tower, or they might have enough. Let's find out. Will the balloons do it? They are full health. They're going to get to the wizard tower, and down it goes. 30 seconds left, and one is going to skyrocket Lando Gaming in this war. They now lead by 2 3-stars, and it looks ever so promising. They have the percentage. They've got 2 3-stars ahead. So now is the time. If CruncHTimE do not 3-star in the next attack, then it might be over before it has even begun. I say before it's even begun. That is over halfway of the war. But miracles happen. Things can still happen. CruncHTimE, 2 attacks in. But if the next one isn't a 3-star, then we're moving to the back end of the war. And it looks like they will need 2 3-stars to finish off. Unless we see a 1-star. And it does happen, guys. There have been 1-stars throughout the community events. Very regular, in fact. I say very regular, but there has been a number of them. This is one of those attackers, though, who can get a 3-star under pressure when you need it again and again. Kevin is not short of experience, but he loses a Yeti to the Springtrap early on. Oh my word, he does not get the scatter shot. That is super unfortunate. He wanted the scatter shot. He wanted the 2 expos. He wanted everything in that area, and it didn't happen for him. Definitely not a good start on his point of view, but for Vlad, a very nice move having the Springtrap in that area to battle against the Yeti. Now Kevin is doing a phenomenal job here getting the queen in. Let's not forget that Kevin has got rid of the Inferno Tower, sorry, the single Inferno Tower, which allows this queen charge. So irrespective of not getting the expos, he's still okay. It just means he has to commit more spells. He has to commit more time. It is not what Kevin was expecting. So whilst it could still work for him, it's definitely not the value he wanted. Poison onto the queen, always like to see that. Just to slow the queen down. Whilst the damage is next to nothing, it will slow the queen down, and this queen charge is pretty epic. Getting right to the town hall. Royal Champion can come freely into the bottom area. Do not forget about that single target Inferno, Kevin. As it locks onto the Royal Champion, press that ability or freeze it. The freeze is the option, and there goes the ability, pinging through the defenses. No longer able to take down a maxed level cannon. That was part of the balance changes, which happened after the Town Hall 13 update. Now this is pretty good, given that we have a Lava Loon attack. Kevin, one of the pros with Lava Loon, in fact, always getting it done with it. The Lava Loon is now coming right the way around the base. Lava Hound pops, but it's not the end of the world. He needs his queen over to that Royal Champion, though, because on defense, she stands tall, taking down the balloons again and again. And this is not the attack Kevin needed. He's got to use that Grand Warden's ability because the balloons are going down fast. And remember, when you know you're not going to get the 3, you've just got to use your abilities, your spells, everything early. Adapt as good as you can. You can still 3-star despite a poor start. However, when you know it's not going to happen, you've got to get the highest percent. A little bit unfortunate there for Kevin. If the Springtrap was not there and he had have taken out more of that right area, his queen charge would have been so much better. Ends up running out of time due to the extensive queen charge to get through that area. Keeps the percentage relatively high for CruncHTimE. However, now they have got to get to 3-stars, and they've got to hope that Lando Gaming do not get any. Danielson, starting with the Yetis, the first Yeti attack we have seen in this war, and if he gets the 3-star for Lando Gaming, then it is pretty much, it already is, their war to lose. If you are using the Yetis, you always want to start off, if appropriate, with a Grand Warden walk. It sets the funnel easily. The Yeti smash is not a time-consuming attack, so you've got the time to commit to that Grand Grand Warden Walk. I'm glad that you guys enjoy the 5v5. I certainly do, and with the World Championships, I feel it fitting to bring you guys coverage of some of the teams you might see and help you in order to gain your favorites. Have those teams that you want to support on throughout this upcoming season of the World Championships. CruncHTimE and Lando Gaming, very well known in the community. They will certainly be giving it what they have. Now the Town Hall goes down early on here. Yetis continue to move through. He's got enough healers to get this done. It's all about how quick this scattershot to the top can go down. It's getting huge damage onto the Yetis. The one on the left is going down by the Royal Champion as well, and down they both go. Whilst it does not look ideal here, it could still happen if the single Infernos can go down. Queen about to get one of them. Does she get it? Yes, she does. Oh, the Royal Champion misses the second one, and that could be huge if it went down with over a minute. It certainly would have been a close one. It would have been a very, very high percentage, but as it happens, the Yeti just went down too quick. Now, one thing with this strategy, Danielson did everything right in terms of setting the funnel coming in towards the Town Hall. However, when you cannot directly access the scattershot, one of them was to the top, one of them was to the bottom, and they were consistently side-swiping the troops, and the Yeti just could not do anything. That is not what you need with this strategy. Danielson will let the clock tick out, starts with the Grand Warden Walk, finishes with the Grand Warden Walk, uses everything else in the middle, and fortunately for him, the percentage will continue to clock up, because remember, it's all down to these last attacks. This is exactly what CruncHTimE needed. If they get a 3-star in the next one, then I'm not going to say they're necessarily back in it and favourites to win, but certainly it gives us a glimmer of hope that we could get this done. Fails on time, a 79% 2-star. Rollator Mumbo is their man, and it is the Queen charge into Hog Riders. Let's take a look on how this one happens. An interesting area around the Town Hall. Got to be Teslas and traps around that area. A Queen charge will come in. My suspicion is that the Battle Blimp will come into the single Inferno and to the Scattershot, and Hog Riders straight down this path at the bottom. A couple of balloons used. Is this where the Battle Blimp will be used? Sorry. No, it is not. The Town Hall is his target. Using the Yetis to take that straight down. The Battle Blimp now activates the Town Hall with its crash damage, and that is how this strategy is now possible. The Giga Bomb does huge damage onto the Yetis, but look at the precision wall breakers allowing the Queen into the base. The Multi-Inferno out of range of the healers, and this looks good. A single balloon trying to get ahead of the healers in order to test for any SAMs. Again, that is black bombs, in order to make sure that you only lose 5 troop capacity instead of 14 in that of a healer. But with the ice golems continuing to slow the Queen down, Rollator has to use a freeze in order to protect the healers. He's got to have the Queen get the multi, and fast. The healers are now on very low health. They do survive ever so slightly, but if they take a red bomb which does splash damage, then they will be history. The Queen's ability used. Hog Riders in, many of them circling around the base. He's got a good split here. This could be good, but with no freeze spell, it is definitely going to be difficult getting to the back end scattershot. That is what the freeze was hoped for. Hog Riders maintaining their health through this. If only the scattershot would turn to the Queen. Come on, go to the Queen and not the Hog Riders, but it continues to batter down the piggies, and they are history. The single Inferno will wipe out the Royal Champion given the skeleton spells, and that is so unfortunate for CruncHTimE. If the Queen had have been that little bit quicker, she could have tanked the scatter shot. It could have been a whole different story with the Hog Riders coming through. But now, CruncHTimE rely on the fact that Lando Gaming slip up in their next attack. It is still anybody's game, but Lando Gaming now in the driving seat. Let's face it, they have been in the driving seat all the time. However, now they are in a position where as long as they do not fail, as long as they do not get a 1-star, then CruncHTimE cannot catch up. It all comes down to this. Take a breath. Lando needs to get the secure 2. And he is pretty much going all out for it. The Queen and the jump spell will give her access to the town hall early on. Many balloons used. Does not want to lose any healers. Wait a second. The Queen has gone. She is not choosing the jump spell. It's a pretty easy fix because the miners and hogs can obviously go straight to the town hall, but the Queen says no. I do not want to take that jump spell. You should have used it by the single target inferno. Down she goes. 25%. Lando only needs another 25 and the town hall to get it done. Uses the royal champion and siege barracks across to the left hand side. This will ensure that the funneling and percentage is there. Clan castle troops lured out of the way of miners who are going to be deployed to the town hall. Everything will be thrown at that town hall. A couple of hog riders to the single target inferno just to try and take that. Here come the miners and here come the hogs. The only thing, well, there's pretty much nothing which could save him. Even a tornado trap would not allow the miners to go behind. He needs all of them to go down. Remember, I've been reiterating throughout the war to use your abilities and spells early. Lando, not taking any opportunity, uses the Grand Warden's ability early. We're at 48, 49, and still not happening. Building the suspense. There it is. 50%, and Lando Gaming take the victory. It is an incredibly low percentage, only just getting it done. But when the pressure is on the line and you need to get the 2 stars, ultimately you just need to get the 2 stars. Lando certainly sweating right now. Definitely will be panicked on that one, but got it done. Scary moment for him, but it secures the victory for Lando. CruncHTimE cannot catch up now. They will not be able to catch up on stars because they are 2 behind, and with a 4-star deficit, even if they 3-star, they will not get it. Now Lando will go for any percentage. Irrespective, he will let that minion go out and get the rest of the buildings, purely because that is what you need to do. Get into the habit of allowing your troops to get every single percentage. Do not stop the attack early, especially in 5 versus 5 wars. You never know when one builder hut could be the game maker and get it done. 57% 2-star is enough for Lando. You can say that the pressure's off right now because he cannot change the outcome. However, fail time, I know how good he is. He will be going for the 3-star, and this is a common base that you potentially might see within multiplayer. So be sure to watch this attack carefully and you might be able to mimic it. Matthew said he needs a 4-star. Imagine if he could do it. Imagine if he got a 4-star. I don't know. What could even be qualified as good enough for a 4-star? Maybe beating the base in a minute. You get a bonus star. Irrespective, it's not going to happen. The Yeti did not get the scatter shot, did not even damage it, in fact. And with a Yeti smash attack, that was the main focus. The scatter shot was what he wanted. Notice how the Yeti are slightly deployed across to the left-hand side of the base where the second scatter shot lies. That gives him direct access to it, but now the scatter shot on the right will do huge damage. Just watch it. As the Yetis come through, they are going to get the first scatter shot pretty quickly, charging towards that town hall, but they are stuck in that tornado trap. Yetis are charging forward and the Yeti might take it down, and the Giga Bomb means that they are out of range. The Yeti at the top didn't get the scatter shot and it continues to do work, and unfortunately the battle blimp at the start of the attack just did not happen for fail time, not getting the scatter shot, and that was the main defense which was shredding the Yetis over and over again. Does get the 2 stars, has the Royal Champions ability in the bag in order to ping an extra couple of defenses, and this one wizard can go ahead and clean up all of this. The lonely wizard can try his best, and look at how close this was. You might be looking at the percentage and thinking, well, it's not that close, but there are literally a couple of defenses left. If the scatter shot goes down at the start of the attack with the battle blimp, then I believe this has a very good chance of getting the 3-star. The Yetis would have had so much more power throughout the base and potentially got it done. If the Grand Warden tanks the archers, he might be able to get all of the defenses just in order to have a little bit of something to clasp onto. Georgia says, even without pressure, yeah, CruncHTimE certainly not the best we have seen them. Topped the group in the Pinnacle Cup. An incredibly tough division as well. King Jeffrey and One Hive right on their tails, but CruncHTimE beat all of them, and unfortunately it just did not happen for them versus Lando Gaming. Still gets close to 80% in this final attack, so if the scatter shot went down, there's no question in my mind that it would have been a 3-star, but the 45-minute war comes to a close and the deciding attacks were right at the start. It is a 12-10 victory to Lando Gaming. Look at how close the percentage is, even with 2 3-stars down. CruncHTimE are only 1.2% down. In real term, that is 6% of a base, because you times it by 5 due to the 5 players. 6%. If CruncHTimE had have got them 2 3-stars, they would have been well ahead on percent, but it wasn't enough for them. Lando got this one done, and they moved through to the final 8 within the Pinnacle Cup. I want to thank every single one of you for tuning in today.